Hi, this is Landon Taylor, founder and chief vision officer for the Wealth Triangle. And in this video blog, I'm going to go over with you a Wealth Triangle warrior strategy on how to safely multiply your income. Now remember, eliminating your debt and multiplying your income is one of the 10 steps that we teach you on how to break free from the 7 deadly shackles that are preventing you from discovering and living fully in your truth. Why is it important to eliminate your debt and multiply your income? Well, we need the economic freedom that will then give us the time, the space, and the energy to be able to discover the things that we really want to do. When we're just working every day, living paycheck to paycheck, and worried about making ends meet, then we never have the freedom and the space and the creativity to be able to find out, those unique things that we were put here on this earth to complete. So that's why this is so important. So let's get started. Now, first of all, why do I say safely multiplying income? Well, the reason I say safely is because most ideas or opportunities that get presented to you are not safe, but they're actually very, very risky. For example, they promise something for nothing, right? They say, hey, you can buy real estate for no money down, or you can make easy money. It's no problem. These are all the things that we need to watch out for, because remember, if something sounds to be too good to be true, it probably is. I remember recently I had a gentleman come to me and say, Landon, you should get involved in this money changing business. It's electronic money changing, and all you have to do is put in $5,000, and if you do that within 1 month, you'll make back 5 times the amount. And sure enough, I heard about his story that he made $25,000 the first month, and the next month he told me he made 50, and then lo and behold, about 12 months later, not only did he lose all of his money, but 5 people he got involved in that project also lost all of their money, and the company went out of business, and there was an investigation. So remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Well, the second reason, second area to avoid, are ideas that are outside of your expertise. A great book to read, if you haven't read it yet, is Richest Man in Babylon by George Glasson. This is an amazing book, and one of the things it talks about is never invest in a diamond mining business through a bread maker, right? So if somebody's a bread maker, they're not the person to invest your money into a diamond mining business. We have to stick to the things that we know. Again, I remember, I won't say his name, but bless his heart, someone came to me and said, Landon, we can get rich raising llamas. And you probably can get rich raising llamas, but I don't know anything about llamas. So fortunately, I read that book. So another thing to do is to avoid, again, things that are outside of your expertise. A third area to avoid are projects that require you putting too much capital at risk. Never risk your safety net. I think that's an encouragement that I would give to you. I made this mistake. I remember a venture that I got involved in back in 2007, 2008, and I just risked too much. I put too much at stake, and as a result, it set me back. I had to start over again with respect to my big nest egg that I use for investments, and that was a mistake that I'll never make again. It's just not necessary. So those are the 3 areas that we want to avoid. So let's talk about what we should do. Here are some principles that I've learned personally and in studying some of the most wealthy and successful individuals in the world. Here are some things that I've brought together that I would share with you. Number 1 is stick to projects or ventures that involve topics that you know, that are in your expertise, right? Number 2 is, again, like I said, use things or take approaches that allow you to start with small amounts of capital that you can then scale up. So, for example, let's say you're a CPA. Well, one idea is, if you're a CPA, maybe start another business or a sub business that provides contract controller services or bookkeeping for another company. Of course, make sure it's not a conflict of interest with your current employer, but that allows you to start a side business. It's in your field. It doesn't require a lot of capital. And then as you scale it, then you can put more time in it. And another thing is, don't quit your job right away. A lot of people, a lot of these books, these self-improvement books say, hey, burn all your bridges, quit your full-time job and go out and be an entrepreneur. Well, you can do that. There's some people who succeed that way, but most don't. So before you quit your job, scale up and make sure that the new venture that you've started is now replacing your current income, and then you can make that shift. So that's really, really important. So again, stick to what you know, make your investment safe, if you will, and then scale up. Another key uh, area that I would say focus on is to leverage what I call the 10,000 hour rule. I actually shouldn't claim that. Malcolm Gladwell's, who I first read that philosophy, is, Malcolm Gladwell talks about the fact that when you look at these super achievers, whether it's Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, we think, oh my goodness, or the Beatles, for example, we say, oh my goodness, they're so brilliant. How did they become such a genius at what they do? It did not happen overnight. What they do looks effortless, but they've been at it for at least 10,000 hours. That's what Malcolm Gladwell talks about, is that it takes at least 10,000 hours before you've reached a point of mastery. So my encouragement to you is pick the thing that you know that you've mastered. If you're, it's likely that if you're watching this video blog, you're a master in a particular area in your field. So choose, again, something that you already know so that you can look like this guy on the slide, just chilling, sitting back, and watching your income multiply. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy and you won't have to work hard, but what I am saying is the work that you do looks effortless because you can do it with your eyes closed because it's your expertise. For example, with me, I've been at business development, market development for 22 plus years. If somebody comes to me and they say, hey, I've got a business idea, I'm doing well, but now I need to scale it up, I need to grow my market, I could sit down and effortlessly, for fun, and write up a plan for them to be able to expand their business because it's something that I've been doing for 2 decades plus. So think of that, what that is for you. So now I'd love to share with you an example of an approach that you can take to safely multiply your income that fits all the categories, that avoids the challenges that I talked about and fits the categories that I think you should be focused on. And that is getting paid for sharing your existing knowledge. That is a significant business opportunity that's been on the rise because of the fact of that technology has advanced and there's all types of barriers that have been lowered. Someone like yourself could really start today in creating an online information services expert business where you can start getting paid for sharing your specific knowledge and expertise. Let me give you a couple of examples that will jog, your creative thinking that maybe you can try. So one example is to start and monetize a blog. Let me give you some examples. There's a blog, forgive the foul language here, believe it or not, it's called Broke Ass Bride. There's a woman who didn't have a lot of money. She wanted to get help with funding her wedding, and she came up with ideas about how to fund a wedding with no money. And it was so successful, got so many followers that she started getting advertisers on it. And today, she doesn't work anymore. She runs this blog called Broke Ass Bride. So that's a great example. Another example is to create an information product or a membership program, again, where you share your expertise, create a membership program where people sign up for it, and then you give them that knowledge on a monthly basis. Here are a couple of examples that I've seen that are pretty good. One is, Izzy Video Production. Here's a guy who shares his knowledge on how to help people who are novices learn how to create video production. Here's one that I signed up for called First Class Flyer. Here's a guy whose expertise is how you can get first class airline tickets at phenomenally cheap prices. And again, he gets paid $200 for a membership for sharing that knowledge. Abs Blueprint, another example. This gentleman just shares ideas on how to burn body fat. So these are a few examples of there's another one, how to invest in the stock market on your own. I think this is one I haven't seen out there, but I think that would probably create a lot of traction if you want to start it. Another example, number 3, write an ebook. It's so easy now to write an ebook. Write it, get it published, and start selling it. And finally, hold webinars. The technology that's available now for you to set up and hold webinars and get paid for them, it's phenomenal. It's so much easier than it ever has been before. Well, now let me share with you some potential numbers, some potential revenue that could be generated by doing this. Let's say, for example, with the ebook. Let's say you create an ebook and you sell it for 20 bucks. Multiply that times 100 sales per month. Let's say you make 100 sales of your ebook, per month. That's $2,000 per month. Webinars. Let's say you create, again, in your particular expertise, a webinar, and you charge $49 for the attendee to attend the webinar. And let's say you make 10 sales per week, 4 weeks a month. That's $2,000 per month. Or maybe an online 6-module training program. And again, the topic of your expertise. Say you market it for $299. Let's say you make 2 sales per week. That's $2,400 a month. And then finally, if you create a membership program, and let's say you charge 99 bucks per month to be a member of your program, and you build it up to 100 members, well, that's $10,000 a month in recurring business, meaning that happens each and every month. Add all that up, and if my math is right, that's approximately $196,000 per year. So if you're making $100,000, you have doubled your income. Now, 2 things. One, your results will vary. So I'm not saying this is guaranteed for you. You may do 5 times the amount. I know people who are making $1 million a year in this business, and your results may be much smaller. It depends upon the effort that you put into it. And then number 2, it does take time to scale up. So those are my disclaimers, if you will. But bottom line is, this is being done, and it's a way to safely multiply your income. So keep me posted on how it goes with you. I hope you leverage this strategy, and maybe once you get started and you get some traction and you're doing great, I can have you as a guest on my show that I do on a weekly basis called the Warrior Hangout. So until we talk or see each other again, keep living your truth.